to Witchy and Well's Soul Medicine. I'm your host, Emily Valario, pharmacist, witch, and holistic health coach. And today it is my great privilege to be joined by Francellis Nunez, CEO of MeNowYou Consulting. This woman is extraordinary. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I feel like I have to start by just sharing how we met, because it was a magical night.
Please, let's go. I would love that. Yes.
So we met at an event to raise awareness for the Psychological Center in Lawrence, and this is a nonprofit that is doing amazing work to help women who are healing through substance use disorder, provide housing and resources, like an amazing organization that gathered us together. And you were asked to speak briefly about your work, and I just was in awe of your authenticity, your courage, your willingness to be you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do think that's a challenge today. Yeah. We are encouraged to be everything but you. To go find a way to match, to fit in, to look like everybody else, Botox, fillers, all kinds of filter, everything but you. And I think that's a great compliment, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Where do you feel that came from, that ability to be you?
I'm gonna say an answer from you, trauma. I think, you go through stuff and you figure out like, hey, I'm gonna give myself permission to be exactly who I am. I think I have really amazing family structure. My mother and my father were together 51 years before my father passed. They were like, just high expectations, implanted in me that I was destined for greatness, that I was meant for more, that I was not average. In fact, I came home from maybe 6th grade or 5th grade with a C. Yeah. And the punishment was, are you really just average? Wow. That beat me up more than like a beating, and I was like, wow. No. I had to like go on a mission to prove that I was not average, so it was like I just worked harder and I always went for the gold star. And there was also abandonment, young, sexual violence, young. There was a lot of things that happened that shut down my spirit, and I couldn't identify and I couldn't name it until it was grown. And I just behaved a certain way that people would be like, I don't get it. Why are you like this? Like, I was just always like, I shut down a little bit, or I couldn't stand when people looked at me. I thought people were just like mean and nosy. I don't know. It's so weird. Yeah. But you behave in weird ways and it's because you're not really being yourself, right? So you don't know yourself fully. So I think I had to go through a journey of really looking at myself. What was I saying yes to that I didn't really mean, and that was creating a path and a reality in my life that I didn't really want, right? I have the power to say the yes or no. So I took that seriously. Like, no is like a superpower. I'm like, no. And then I have to explain it. That's a full
I love the way you said that too. I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm okay with you saying no, because that feels good actually. Yeah, that feels good you setting that boundary.
It does. And it's not like an offense to anybody. It's not that I'm saying anything anti you. I'm saying yes, me. So I'm saying no to that. And you have to learn how to do that. So creating the reality around me was that I was lying to myself. I wasn't truthful about my world or my beliefs, my values, what I stood for. What was I about? What was I creating in the world? Like, I just wasn't full. And I had to knock down all the barriers that separated who I was as a person, right? So I learned first and foremost that I'm a child of God. So there's this spiritual level of me that's spirit, that's soul, that's bigger, right? But then I know this physical body exists for a reason, so I have to care for it. I have to be a good steward of this. This physical body is the gift, is the vessel that I'm supposed to, right? So that means figuring out, Ayurvedic charts and foods and my kapha and what am I supposed to feed my body, but also understand I need to drink water and exercise and sleep well. And then I went on to the meditative energy world. So I was understanding now this four level of alignment as a person that has let me walk in my most authentic self, where I'm not excusing any one or the other, I'm not picking any one or the other, I am just allowing it and I'm reading it, right? Because the spirit and the energy manifests in the physical. So for me, one of those biggest like kind of aha moments was I have thyroid disease. And for a long time in my life, I was silenced. I was shut down. I was like, no, and I couldn't really speak my truth. And I developed thyroid disease in the same chakra that is representative of my speaking, my voice, my power, my agency. Yes. And realizing that made me go, oh, this is bigger. This. So I think that's why I don't have to. It has helped me love myself. It has helped me love all the pieces of me that I was ashamed of or that were in the corner hidden that I wouldn't tell anybody about. I had to like take her out, like the really gross boogery one, the one you take her out and you go, I love you.
I love you anyway.
I love you too. I love you because you are me, right? So like finding what are those parts of me, and that required journaling, that required therapy, that required spiritual direction, that required work, and I think if you don't do the work, you never fully know who you are. So how could you walk authentically, right? So you have to pretend and put masks on. And we all put masks differently, But my mask today is a little bit more transparent than it ever has been because it sounds weird to people, but I feel like I belong no matter what room I'm in. I belong. I'm supposed to be there because it wasn't anybody else's plan but God's. And if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be in it. So, you know what I mean? It's like I'm supposed to be. So instead of asking for permission or walking in a space where the energy is, I'm asking you if I can exist, I simply walk as I am. I exist. You accept it, you don't. You walk away or you stay here. But I don't need to shift and mold and change in order to make that happen anymore.
For someone who's struggling to do that, what's your advice?
One step at a time. I think write it out. That's the biggest advice. When I started to write it out, what is a mentor that I had the privilege of having in my life, Sandy Hessler. She does a 6-minute, I have to figure out the exact thing, but it's a daily 6-minute little advice grounding session, right? She put me through an exercise called Your Living Vision. And she said, okay, it is 5 years from now. It is, August 5th of 2030. Yeah. You opened your eyes. What do you see? Where are you? What's around you? What have you been able to accomplish? And I was able to write something out that when I read it, it made me cry and it made me emotional. And it was the beginning of realizing that I was going to be on this solo journey. This realizing like, oh, okay, I'm waking up alone in this big old bed. There was a lot, there was a lot of power that was able to come from visualizing it. I mean, down to the details, like I have a sunroom with lots of plants that have doors so my cats can't mess with my plants. Like it was just so many details to it, and how my daughters are doing and how business is booming and where I've been and what I traveled and how my mom is doing. Like very specifically do that for yourself, right? So physically, where are you going? Like physically, I used to want to lose weight because I wanted to fit into a pair of jeans or I wanted to be a certain number. Now I want to work out and take care of myself because it gets rid of my stress, it gets rid of anxiety, and it makes me feel good, and I can stay mobile as an older person growing into, right? Like, so you think about things differently, you do them differently. So I would say, put them out there, write them out first, and then do one thing at a time, right? So my goals are always on that 4 level. What am I doing for my mind? What am I doing for my body? What am I doing for my spirit? And how am I taking care of my energy? And that's what I would do. Like, ask yourself that question every day. Did you do something toward any of those? Then success. But if you make it that you have to do 5 for each one every day by 7:30,
dogma crushes us.
You already start to lose.
You're done.
Don't do that. Right. Get rid of the check boxes.
Exactly.
Focus on what it is you need. Like you said today, I needed a nap, and I don't nap. And I was like, I'm gonna take a nap.
Absolutely.
Like giving yourself permission instead of being like, you can't, you have to cook, you have to figure it, because I do. There's a list of things I should do. And my body was like, we're done. So
you try to do that, we're not gonna be happy.
Just trying to listen too.
Yeah. It's interesting too. I think part of what I'm hearing is popping out of there's a little bit of distance, there's a little bit of detachment or removal from the parts, right? When you can examine them as parts, you're not like entrenched in it, blind to what's happening within that context. It's like, okay, I can see myself from this sort of more meta view and make choices to care for each part.
Absolutely.
And right? And now
Absolutely.
we do better caring for something that we feel is external to us. I think about this with my dog all the time. I'm like, I can love her unconditionally. It's harder to do that for my own body, but I can do that for her.
Yeah, no, that's true. You turn it back and you do that for your daughter, you do that for your children, you do that for people that you like super believe in. You're like, oh, and then you turn around and you have doubts and questions about yourself. But I think that's anything that's related or connected to fear. Right, and doubt, anything that keeps putting this in your head, right? I've heard her called the mean girl. I've heard people say that they have named their brain because it's a natural human thing that we beat ourselves up. We are our worst critics, no matter what. We can talk advice to people in like all the beautiful, rosiest, fruitiest ways, most loving kind, and then turn around and talk so much trash about ourselves. So the mean girl in our head is somebody that needs to either be named or acknowledged so that you can see that, listen, this is not you, right? So anything that's connected to fear, doubt, is not of God. So it's an attack on you, it's intentional, it's purposeful, right? Because we're not against, we're against spiritual things more that are bigger, principality, bigger things that are, kind of like playing a role in our lives, you know? And I don't think we know or see it and are therefore not prepared to kind of like implement things that will fight it, or go against it, you know?
And then it's like, isn't it then the challenge to love the mean girl? To say, oh, I see you, mean girl, whatever, right? I see you, I see what you're trying to do. I see where you've been hurt.
Yes.
And you know, I'm grateful for you doing what you're trying to do right now. Right now, we don't need the mean.
And understanding who she is.
Exactly.
Right, is that she did come from all the pain and all the bad experiences, and she's warning you. She's giving you all those things. But there's warning, and then there's taking over.
Yeah.
Right, and if the mean girl takes over, and that's the only voice you hear, and you're not feeding yourself, like, well, you feed the good wolf, you feed the bad wolf, whatever one you feed is gonna grow, right? So, same thing. If you feed yourself negative thoughts and you beat yourself up, it's gonna grow. It's only gonna continue. The hardest thing one of my therapists said to me was to look at myself in the mirror and say, I love you.
Oh, girl,
look at myself in the eyes.
Powerful.
It was so weird. It was so weird at first. Like, oh, you know, and I was like so uncomfortable looking away from myself. I was like, oh my gosh. But then like you start doing and like really start doing it. I cried at one point. It was like so intense to say that. Like just look at yourself in the eyes in the mirror and see your essence. And just love your essence. You exist for a reason. That's reason enough to celebrate. That's reason enough to not beat yourself up. Absolutely. Because there's nobody else like you. Nobody else has built, designed, or has lived what you have lived and can therefore contribute what you contribute to the world. So if you don't live at your fullest, we all miss out. We all lose. That's it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's a responsibility, is to learn who we are, figure that out, and shine bright. Exactly. Because we're all meant to kind of shine into each other's lives.
Yeah.
And support each other.
Every human being has a tremendous gift. It often comes as we integrate our trauma.
For sure.
I think maybe not always, but I think, that healing is what allows us to grow, to shine, to connect.
And that's possible in our world right now. It feels so divided, it feels so unreachable, but it's only impossible until it's done, right? Nelson Mandela. And the thing is, you have this layer that is the individual. And we can figure out the individual by doing a lot of different psychoanalysis, understanding the brain, understanding human patterns, right? But if you extrapolate that into like a systemic level, a higher level away from the individual, that same process of trying to heal, reflect, be transparent, know yourself, be thyself, and therefore, move in another direction is possible for us all as a people. Yes. But it has to be on a higher level, right? Like there's no pointing fingers, there has to be a deeper understanding. And that's where MeNowYou comes in, where we start to say, listen, let's identify some of these historic patterns. Let's understand human patterns. And let's identify why you're not working so well together, how you can avoid conflict, how you can use conflict to make a more effective workplace, how you can have more effective teams and building camaraderie and rapport with each other, is like investing in the company. So there's just a lot that if you can understand the patterns historically of oppression, where we're talking about patriarchal systems that have been established for thousands of years, capitalism that has spread throughout the entire globe. Globalization is just an example of how far these white supremacist patriarchal structures have gone. Right, like, and colonization is prevalent in all these other countries that have been, taken over and put into this imperialist, systems. It's what we see is repeated in all these different countries and people. And if people started to get rid of the programmed identity that they're being told to accept to keep this program going, right? To keep this matrix, this system going, they will always feel less than, they will always feel rushed and, scattered, incomplete, a feeling like a loss, a sense of no purpose, right? But when you realize that, no, you were made on purpose, for a purpose, specifically right now. And that's why you have to live your biggest, because otherwise you miss it. And you don't serve the purpose you were supposed to, and you feel that. And you live a whole home kind of a life when you're really supposed to be like, la la,
As you're speaking, I'm having this imagery of, right, so I think so many of our systems, they continue because an object in motion stays in motion, right? Right? It takes the least amount of energy to just keep following the same trajectory.
Sure.
But I'm seeing, what you're advocating, stepping into your truth, that is the stop to that motion. That is the force of love.
Yeah.
That allows us to find a new path.
Yes.
Right? It's like we all have that capacity within us.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's empowering. Once you realize that you have that, you can shift the way you move. One good example for that is the risk that I took in my life and in my career that I think was the most kind of like empowering was to leave, a C-suite higher education position that everyone, raved about. And it was amazing. I loved being that person. And leaving that to start my own business and be on my own and do a healing journey. And people were like, are you crazy? I was like, I'm crazy if I don't do this. If I don't move in the direction that I know my gut and my life is telling me to. And it was nothing, it was my father. My father passed away 3 years ago, March of this, 3 years ago. And, I'm sorry too, but I'm also so blessed, right? My father, I don't know how to explain it to people. It's a super long story, but the idea that my father waited in a lot of pain. Like I touched his toe like this and he was like, right? But I got to my father, my sisters flew me in because they were like, he's not gonna make it until, the day you were supposed to fly in. I was supposed to fly in March 6th. And my father passed March 2nd. But my sisters flew me in February 28th, and I was able to spend his last 2 days telling stories, cleaning him, moving, and just making him laugh and cry with us, And it was amazing. But what I learned was how much he loved me. And I left that place a little angry at everybody, like everybody has to love me the way my father loved me. And then I was like, no, that's not the lesson. I have to love
everyone the way.
No, I had to love me the way my father loved me. And that was the journey of, all right, what's my truth? What's real? What's not? And who's for me and who's not for me? Like there was a lot of digging through my life and saying, this is staying, this is going, this is staying, this is going. And it was work and personal all at the same time because the question was, why don't I love myself? Another really influential person in my life was Yvonne Castaneda, and she's a she's a clinician, and she's also a trainer, and she's an author, and she's amazing, she's brilliant. And I said in the beginning of me designing my company, I'm like, figuring out prices. You know, prices is hard. It's like, oh my gosh, who's gonna pay for that? Yeah. So I said to her, yeah, but who's gonna pay this for that? And she goes, you don't love yourself. People don't talk to you like that, you know, not everybody. So it's like so special that someone can say that, because I'm the kind of person that goes, why not? What do you mean? So then I go and I dig, and I go and why don't I love myself? What does it look like to really love myself? What would I be doing if I truly love myself? All of those questions changed the way I love myself. It made me understand certain things about myself in terms of what my brain can produce, right? And the mean girl can produce misery for you, but the dreamer, right, in your mind, the one that can think of existing solutions outside of possibilities, outside of boxes that people won't touch anymore. Like, I think that power is in a free mind, in a mind that's unencumbered by the systems and the patterns and all of the programming that I have done, right? I always related to like the Matrix. When you start to see the systems, it's almost as if you can see the coding. You can see the Matrix itself. And then you unplug, you're like, I know that's not steak. And some people will say, okay, I don't care, I'm gonna eat it anyway. You know, like, you know what I mean? That parallels to today, like for me, NFL. I love football. And then I go and I look at certain layers of it that like are still kind of like Columbine, like all these things are a little bit connected to slavery. And then I'm like, oh, I don't like it. You know, so there's so many layers of certain things that like, you know, if you're watching The Matrix, you saw the movie, when he knows that it's a fake steak, he still savors it and, you know, I love it, and betrays all the people to get that like fakeness. And I think we as a human species are doing that. We are being programmed to believe something like chicken nuggets, right? You're being programmed to believe that's food, and that's probably not food. Probably not food, right? But we'll just eat it because it's accessible, it's easy, it's cheap, and it's not. I'm not trying to judge, right? I'm just trying to make a simple example of like, I do know better, and here I am. You know what I mean? And I think that's the choice every day, is to see the system and choose every day to unplug a little bit more from it, not believe as many stories as it tells you.
It's interesting to hear you say, like, the idea of unplugging, I think is an interesting one, because it sort of implies unplugging is like a loss of energy, right? To plug in is right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I think, and I struggle with this all the time thinking about my work with folks. Where does the energy come from to make these shifts, to make these changes? What do you feel like is the answer there? Where does the energy come from?
I think Viktor Frankl had the answer in the meaning, searching for life's meaning. And he talks about, if all of us understand that there is purpose and meaning to our lives, we walk differently than if you are just convinced that you're just another peg, you know, like in the system. If you understand that you have purpose, you do start to search in different ways, in different areas to fulfill that.
It's like that energy starts to come from within, right? It started like, I don't know where, but it's...
Yeah, or a simple question like, oh, you don't love yourself. Like the simple things like that can shift your entire life if you hadn't been considering that, you know? I think that's the power of conversation. That's the power of authenticity. If you're sitting in a room being your most authentic self, you might help certain bubbles come up in people's brains that never existed there before. And that's life-changing. You know, I really appreciate when I can hear someone say something that I'm like, never thought about it like that before. It changes everything. It's so like light.
Exponential growth for us all.
For real. We can all gain from that one person being able to unplug. There's a lot of messages that we get in movies and magazines and shows that also show you what to measure up to and what you should be and put the pressure on. But it also keeps that facade alive, keeps you stream binging right? Not realizing that that's literally you connected to some matrix you have no power in. Instead, you could, take action in one area of those 4 that we talked about every day, something in your life that would create something positive again for you. Like, keep manifesting the good and understanding that the more you do toward it and the more you believe it, the more you already act as if you already have it, that's the energy that you continue to emanate and therefore replicate. Is going to continue to multiply around you, that, you can create your world. So wealth and, abundance. Like, if you are grateful, you get more. Like, there's a lot of simple things you can do to shift the way you move and the way you move with others, right? Like, intentionally slowing down, allowing conversation. I think that's another reason why I'm here. You and I would not have been able to even talk if my mother didn't just literally stop, right? My mother was at this event that we met, and she made you said melt.
She made me melt.
Right, so...
Francellis, your mother, Ellie, came up to me, and I didn't know anybody there. I was feeling really anxious. I was like, I don't belong here. Who am I,
Yeah.
And she just came up to me, and she just hugged me.
Did she?
She did. She just hugged me, and I was like, okay. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm worthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was just that just like act of care and love, and just I mean, we can do that for each other.
And imagine if everybody did that.
Imagine
for
if
each other.
everyone.
You get to work and you're kind of like, no, this is just something, and somebody touches you in a way that you're like,
Oh, okay. I'm okay. Everything's good.
Yeah. That's a blessing. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I feel like you did that for my mind, and your mom did that for my body.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I think that matters. Being yourself, you can connect in a way with people that is deep and goes far. Like, I'm so bad at small talk because I just don't have patience for it. I'm like, listen, like, let's change the world or small talk. I don't know. I don't stay in that like chatty place. I love to talk, but I love to talk deep. You know what I mean? And it always pays off because I end up making some real connection with that person in like 5 minutes that I can't make with someone that I stay surface for 2 years, So in that one moment, that person remembers me. Oh, yeah. And that person reached out to me. I'm thinking of my friend Ari Velos. She reached out to me after meeting me. 5 minutes, we talked about something deep about, city development and urban planning and changing the world. Yeah. And then we went and broke off into separate places and didn't talk again. And then out of nowhere was like, would you like to do a book club with me called Heroine's Journey? I was like, yes. And have been deep and close ever since. So it's like, if you're able to really be yourself, give yourself permission, the world responds. Energies respond, they all reciprocate. It all shines the mirror back at you in a way that, it just keeps building. So you end up meeting more and more amazing people that you can go deep with in a way that it just feeds your soul,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why sharing spaces like that is so important.
It's so important.
Yeah.
So, okay. Before we get into my final question, which I'm so excited to hear your answer to, if someone wanted to work with you, if someone wanted to hire you as a consultant, how could they find you? Who are good candidates to work with you?
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that question. So you can reach me at MeNowYouConsulting.org and .com, I'm sorry. And people that are looking to implement change, understand the potential of their group, build better team, be more efficient, folks that are trying to get grounded in their identity and understand their historical kind of patterns in their organizations to be able to either pivot or bring them back to life and be grounded in their values. I do a lot of things that help people understand systems of oppression, understand racism, and understand how they play out and how intersectionality kind of like really matters and how we bring that into our workspaces. And navigating that, again, helps us see systemically bigger so that we can address it on an individual level, because change happens on an individual level. I can go into organizations and do something for all staff, but the change doesn't happen until that one staff reflects and thinks for themselves and says, how can I live this? Or what part of this is mine? And somehow incorporates it. So I'm looking for people who are doing the work or interested in doing the work, right? I work with organizations that, one is a company that is looking to improve their numbers, and if they work more efficiently as a team, they'll hit those. And with just 2 sessions with that organization, they're already making a difference, right? And I also work with like boards who are looking to be grounded in the history and their mission and their values, to build a culture of inclusivity and of, kind of purpose, right? So that they can be more efficient and then do what they need to, be more organized and have, strategic goals that are connected to this, right? So I'm looking for partners too and collaborators, right? I don't work for people, I work with people, and I love people, and I think I have a lot of hope for humanity. And that's another thing you can get from me, is that a lens of, real intentionality and purpose, and it's always positive, even when it's negative.
Yeah.
When it's negative, we just rephrase it, break it apart and put it back together in a way that everybody can live with and can kind of buy into, versus just forcing something that doesn't feel good on people. So there's a lot of different...
We find the mean girl in the system, right?
Yeah.
We say, okay, we see you.
Yeah, well said. There is a mean girl in the system too. And don't believe her. So it's, there's a lot of different people that I can work with, and I offer my services to. There's a lot of... I also do art. I'm a painter. When you think about all the parts that like I have to feed myself, I give myself time to paint. I go for a walk. I hike. I'm in nature. I hugged a tree today because I heard that like there is literally energy that refuels and cleans yours from the tree. Okay, maybe that's...
There's that energy that we were talking about. Where do you get the energy? Nature.
Nature. Anytime I go for a hike, anytime I go for a walk on the beach, anytime I go in the ocean, like there's certain things you feel God calling you, you feel like purpose. So just do those things where you feel that the most, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good point. And then I am also available, via email. If you want to email me at francellisnunez@gmail.com, I'll respond right away. But you could also send me a message via the website. But yes.
And please reach out. It's like just to be here right now. It's just magic. It's love. It's hope. It's all of the goodness.
Thank you.
So my last question,
yes.
which I can't wait to hear your answer.
Yes.
If you could be the best in the world at one thing, what would it be?
If I could be the best in the world at one thing, it would be creating the reality I want to live in, manifesting the life and the world that I want to be in. And I think that we as human beings have the mental capacity and the power to do that. So I want to be so balanced and in line with myself that my energy is at a high frequency, that it produces everything and anything I wanted, like The Alchemist. If I had the power to...
That's so funny. I just talked about The Alchemist with my last guest.
I would become that. Imagine. That would be amazing. Yeah. I don't think that's very far away. I actually think that the root of that story is that all of us have the power to be an alchemist. If we look at life in a certain way, if we take certain steps and stay grounded in an authentic way to what our purpose feels like. And our purpose, right? We talk about that a lot, and it feels really up here to people that are like, but what are you talking about? Like, purpose is, what are you passionate about that nobody told you to be passionate about? What are you really good at that most people aren't really good at? What do people say about you that you either make an impact or you leave them with? That combination of things, skills, exposure, talent, all of those tell you what your purpose is. Absolutely. So then your job, if you're not at place of purpose and authenticity, is to go those dual journeys. Find who you are and find all of those things that make you who you are and for that purpose. I think that's the biggest thing. Absolutely. So I would
Well
become the
said.
alchemist. Let's go.
Let's
Right?
go. Let's go. I love it. Yes. Top dog. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us on Witchy Soul Medicine. We will catch you next time.